Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about Lego. My name is Andy and thanks for taking me along. I do appreciate that. Hope everyone is doing well today. Well, we're going to start pretty much where we left off on last video, which was modifying this train station platform to be lower and wider. We were I was trying to figure out how to make it wider without a second support or a third support, but I ended up using a third support in the end. Now, I really do appreciate all of your suggestions in the comments because they were really good suggestions. Like I got one for to make it stronger and longer, you could use plates. Like you could take a couple of 2x16s and then put on a 2x8, 2x16 in the middle, then a 2x8, then just layer it like 3 layers or even more. You could put even more layers on than that and get it to be like a really strong, long beam, which is a really cool idea. And I may use it somewhere else because I kind of like the look of having the beam in the middle here. That's why I'm going to go ahead and go with that. But I did take your suggestions as far as adding the arches there in the center to kind of make that look a little bit cooler. And then I had to, because in the end, with adding those arches, that extended it out a little bit, like 2 more studs. So instead of 28 studs, it ended up being 30 studs. And I'm like, well, if it's going to be 30, I might as well make it 32 and make it even for the plates to come out with a 16x16 plate. So then I added an arch here to add it on to make 2 more studs. So now it's going to be 32 total wide by 48. So it's looking pretty good right now. I just got to obviously do the rest of them exactly the same as these ones out here, and then we can put some plate on, and then we can move farther from there. I did get the parts for the other train station, the arches and whatnot. So we can work on that eventually if we get tired of this one, I guess. So yeah, let's proceed with getting the rest of these set up just like I got these first ones with the arches and the extra pole or post or column, whatever you want to call it. Get that in there and get this thing ready to go for plate. Stand by. All right, folks, there we are. We have all the beams in there, all the 1x12s. All the arches, everything is there ready to go to support our upper train station here with plate and then of course the roof and everything. Here you can see how I have the extra arches here to make it 2 studs longer so that it's 32 exactly so that the plates work out. So yeah, and I added a little bit of a kind of a structural, I don't know if you want to say integrity to it, but it kind of looks like the other train station that I did the same thing on, where I added the extra 2 studs to one side of it. So earlier I mentioned it's 32 by 48, but it's not quite 48 because it's not quite reaching the end here. It's 4 studs away from the end, or 5 studs away from the end there, and then a number of studs away from the end there. So it's 32 by whatever the width was or length was before we made it lower and wider. So the next step obviously is to get some plate on it, and then we can start looking to do the roof. So let's get some plate on, see what that looks like, and go from there. Stand by. All right, guys, there we go. We got the black 16x16 plate on there. It actually ended up being 34 studs wide or long, however you want to put it, by 32. So I had to add an extra 1x8 on each side of the platform to make it to 34 studs as opposed to 32. So there we go. It's looking pretty good. I probably should have used, you know what? Now that I think about it, I probably should have used gray plate or white plate. I don't have enough white plate. I don't think I have any white plate for that matter, but why did I use black? I guess that's because of what was on here before. Maybe I'll replace it with light gray. I don't know. What do you guys think? It seems how I want to base or have the theme of the whole station be gray, white, and blue or dark blue. Black, just I don't know. What do you think the black line that you'll be able to see with the plate is too much? I mean, too much black? Because you won't be able to see you obviously won't be able to see the plate itself because it'll be covered in tiles. But I think I'm gonna replace it with gray plate. I think I have enough gray plate to do that. So let's do that real quick. I don't know why I put black on. Hang on. Okay, there we go. We got it replaced with some light gray plate. I think that looks much better. I mean, the black didn't look bad. It's not going to match the rest of the theme here when we put the white and the blue on there. So I went ahead and added on the posts or the columns for the roof, 3 of those. So I think that's going to be the next step is to construct the roof. And as I said before, it's going to be huge. This is going to have to be bigger than the one on the other station because this is like twice as wide. That one's only 16 or 18 wide. This is 32, so yeah. So we're going to have to make that same beam like we did on the other one with the snot bricks and the hinges. And we'll do that, and then we will get the roof built and see what it looks like. So let's get the beam on there, and we'll go from there. So hang on a second, guys. All right, we got the main beam on here now. I'm just going to show you this here briefly, but I put a layer of white plate. Then I had to put 2 layers of dark gray plate, just like I did on the other station, because after I put the 1 layer, then I put on these pieces right here, which had to be covered up. Well, not covered up, but had to be making even with these. So I had to lay another row of plate beside those. So that's why it's got 2 layers of gray plate and only 1 layer of white plate. So there you go. Let's get on the panels and the windows and see how big this thing's going to turn out being. Be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. This is not coming out even with the plates or the wall elements. It's 2 studs too long because I made it hang over 2 studs on each end. So I guess I should have only made it hang over 1 stud on each end because now I got to shorten it by 2 studs. And then I'm probably going to have to come out at least 3 panels to make it long enough to cover the whole thing as far as the roof goes. So let's go ahead and get it shortened up, and then we'll put on some more panels or put on the rest of the panels and see what it looks like. As I mentioned when we were doing the build, the roof is going to be huge. And ladies and gentlemen, it is huge. It is like twice as big as the one on the other train station. The other train station, well, maybe not twice as big, but the other train station only has 2 rows of windows on each side of the beam. This one has 3, and it was necessary to cover the entire platform. So if you look at it from the side here, I mean, the top almost could have got away with only 2 rows, but I figured, might as well make it symmetrical with the bottom, and put on 3 rows instead of 2. And then, I mean, it'll hang over quite a bit at the top, but that's okay. What do you guys think? Do you think it looks good? You think it looks corny? It looks kind of weird without the walls in yet. So granted that, but it'll look much better when we get the walls in there and get everything set up and finished. So the next thing I need to do before I put walls on is tile off the inside floor, which I'm plan on doing with dark blue and white tiles. So I think let's get started on that, and then we'll probably wrap up here before too long. But let's get the floor tiled off, see what that looks like, and then maybe start on the walls. Actually, folks, I think we're going to hold off on doing the floor because the dark blue 2x2 tiles are in this bag of parts that I have not yet sorted out yet. So it'd be kind of hard to get them out when they're not sorted properly. So I think we're going to go ahead and start on the walls instead. And in this case, like we did on the other station, we started with masonry. So I think we're going to start with gray masonries, and then we'll go to maybe a row of white and a row of dark gray plate, and then we'll go to dark blue bricks for the rest of it. I think that would look pretty good. So yeah, so let's start on the walls, or at least one wall, and then we will go from there. Well, I started building the walls. Then I realized there's something I forgot. Well, a couple things I forgot actually before I should start the walls. One thing was I wanted to add these guys right here, these curves, to make it a little bit more sturdy on the columns holding up the roof. I think that helps a little bit, so it doesn't want to move as much from side to side. You know what I mean? So that helps a little. I mean, if I could, I'd put them on this side too, but you can't only get 4 of them under there. So yeah, so I added those, and then I need to put the round parts on the roof too, like I did on the other one. So we need to do that before we get too far along here. So let me add those real quick, and then we'll start. We'll finish the wall. Okay, so I got the rounded pieces on top of the roof here and on the bottom. But I'm really starting to think that this roof is too big. I mean, if you look at it like this, if I took off the third row there, it would still cover the whole platform. And so I'm thinking, I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be symmetrical then. Maybe I just need to move. Maybe it's just because I have the hinge. The hinge is connected behind that beam instead of directly on the beam. I guess I could have just connected it. No, that would have been negative to negative, or positive stud to positive stud. That wouldn't have worked. So yeah, I mean, it is a little bit off center, but that's because that's the way it had to be in order to connect it. I guess I could have put the connected pieces up here on top of it instead of on the bottom of it. That would have made it a little bit better. Maybe I will do that. Stand by. All right, guys, what do you think? What do you think of my dark blue walls on top of masonries, on top of that white brick and dark gray plate? I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks better in person than it does on camera. Can you tell that there's a slight difference in color in those dark blue bricks? I just noticed that. Like the 1x4s and the 1x8s and the 1x4s, and well, the 1x4s and 1x2s are a different color than the 1x8s. Slightly darker. I mean, you can definitely notice that on camera, right? That's weird, man. Unless they changed the colors at some point between when I bought these, I don't know. I noticed that on the sand blue on the motel too, that it was a slightly different color on the 1x1s than it was on the rest of them. That's weird. But anyway, I did move the roof, or tried to move the roof, like I was talking about, back here. Or what did I do? I moved it. I did move it up to here. It looks better up to here. I think I'd flipped it over first, and it looked ridiculous like that. So I moved it to where it is right now. So I mean, granted, you probably could get away with just this and hack this off, but to make it symmetrical, I'll go ahead and leave it on there. What do you guys think? Do you think it's hanging over too much in the front, or do you think it's appropriate? So I'm going to do the same thing here as I'm planning on doing on the other station, which is putting a front wall in with an arch somewhere. That's a little bit crooked there, isn't it? Okay. Put an arch there and put a wall in front, and then I'm going to do roughly the same thing on the back here with a wall and some windows, and then put in a door just like the other one. So yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. It's a lot bigger than the other one, obviously. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and we'll go from there. I think that's going to wrap us up for today, though. We got quite a bit done, and it's looking pretty good, in my opinion, anyway. So thanks for taking me along, guys. I do appreciate it. Until next time, please have a wonderful day. And remember, keep imagining, keep creating, and keep building. All right, guys. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.